Hey there, Innovation Champions. Melissa Dinwiddie here. Did you know that I'm a singer-songwriter? However, for years, I didn't write a single new song, not one. Now, I have to confess that I have never been the most prolific or speedy of songwriters, but still, this recent creative drought felt, let's just say it wasn't great for my ego. But every time I sat down to try to write a new song, I would would think about all the reasons that it wasn't worth the effort. And then AI came along. And that little voice in my head, see if I can get one of my little gremlins out here. That little voice got even louder. Why should I even bother? AI could probably write a better song than I could anyway. Oh my God, sound familiar? Well, here's the thing. When I first saw AI generate like 30 creative uses for a paperclip faster than I could think of 3, I had what I can only describe as an existential crisis. And when I fed AI a really rough story draft and it spit back this entire really polished article that sounded surprisingly like my voice, my first thought was, oh my God, am I obsolete? But then recently something shifted. I had a performance deadline looming. I was invited to perform some original songs. And I got to tell you, deadlines are always really great motivators. And I decided to try something different. So instead of competing with AI, what if I decided to invite it to be my songwriting partner? And what happened next changed everything that I thought I knew about creativity in the AI era. We're asking the wrong question entirely. So we've got this question that is paralyzing us, and that is AI more creative than humans? Which seems like a really reasonable question because after all, AI can generate art, it can compose music, it can write stories, it can do all of that. And yeah, it can come up with, dozens or hundreds of uses for a paperclip faster than any human can. But this question is actually really dangerous because it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding of what creativity really is. It's kind of like asking, is a telescope better at seeing than the astronomer? The telescope doesn't replace the astronomer's vision, it amplifies it. The astronomer still decides where to look, decides what is worth studying, and also decides what the discoveries mean. So let's talk about what creativity actually is. Creativity isn't just idea generation. It's not about who can produce the most options the fastest. I mean, that's great, but real creativity involves a lot more than that. It also involves intentionality, knowing what problem you're actually trying to solve. It involves context, understanding the nuanced needs of real humans. It involves synthesis, connecting disparate ideas in meaningful ways. It involves judgment, knowing which ideas are worth pursuing. And it involves iteration, refining ideas based on real world feedback. And this is where my Create the Impossible framework becomes essential. Now, if you've been watching any of my videos or looked at my website or followed me at all, you know that my Create the Impossible framework has 3 steps. So let's go through them one at a time. Step 1, play hard. Creativity requires human curiosity. When I finally sat down with ChatGPT to explore songwriting, something kind of magical happened. I started asking questions that AI would have never thought to ask. Like, so I was writing a satirical song about this sort of socio-political moment that we're in. And so I asked things like, what if this song could capture the absurdity of this particular moment in a way that makes people both laugh and think? And how might this connect to what people are actually experiencing right now? AI can generate lyrical themes. It does that really well, but it takes human curiosity to ask the questions that lead to authentic creative breakthroughs. So your ability to wonder, to notice what's missing, to connect dots across your lived experience, that is irreplaceable. Now let's talk about step 2, make craft. Humans excel at productive imperfection. And here's what I discovered during my songwriting session. So ChatGPT would suggest a theme, and I would basically yes and that idea, this idea from improv, where you accept an idea and then you build on it. And then ChatGPT would yes and me right back. And most of its suggestions were honestly not great, but some of them were worth pursuing. And most importantly, AI's ideas, whether they were good or not, they sparked ideas in my head. And that back and forth, like creative tennis match was really exhilarating in a way that I hadn't experienced in years. Honestly, I didn't have a human songwriting partner, so I probably would have gotten the same thing if I had been doing this, the same thing with a human. But, this is what I had. I had an AI tool. But here's the thing. Innovation doesn't come from perfection. It comes from the willingness to create those crappy first attempts and then learn from them and iterate. My first lyrics were really messy. They were incomplete. They were full of half-formed ideas, but they were also full of insights that only I could have generated. Insights that were born from my specific experience, my unique perspective, my understanding of what I wanted to express. And AI helped to refine those insights, but it couldn't generate them. All right, so let's talk about the third step in my Create the Impossible framework, and that is learn fast. So we've got this human advantage here in sensemaking. AI processes information really, really, really quickly, way faster than we can. But humans excel at something that's even more valuable, and that is sensing which directions feel most promising. So during my songwriting session, ChatGPT generated dozens of potential lyrical directions. But I was the one who recognized which ones resonated with my artistic vision, which ones aligned with my values, and which ones felt authentic to my voice. The AI tool gave me options. I provided the wisdom to choose. And when I then went on to perform the song, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 weeks later or something. This was my first new material in, I think it was years. It's so embarrassing to share that, but that's the reality. The audience connected with it in a way that felt really deeply satisfying because ultimately the song came from me. AI was simply, I don't know, it was like that creative partner that I'd always wanted. So here's the real danger. It's not what you think it is. The real danger isn't that AI is going to replace human creativity. The real danger is that we're going to convince ourselves that it already has. When we treat ourselves as mere prompts, as input devices for AI systems, we diminish our own creative power. We become like these passive consumers of AI-generated content instead of active creators using AI as a tool, because that's what it is. It's a tool. But when we remember that we are the creators, we're the ones with the intention, with the context, and with the judgment, when we remember that, everything changes. So instead of asking, is AI more creative than me? Try asking questions like, how can AI help me explore ideas that I wouldn't have considered? And what questions am I uniquely positioned to ask? And how can I use AI to amplify my creative process without losing my voice? After years of creative drought, I'm writing again. Not because AI replaced my creativity, but because it helped me to rediscover it. And the songs that I'm creating now feel more authentically mine than anything I've written in years because, yeah, I have dabbled in some writing in the past few years, but nothing really felt right to me. I think because I wasn't allowing myself to really push it. And now I am. Because I finally understood I'm not competing with AI, I'm collaborating with it. So here's your challenge this week. Pick one creative project that you've been avoiding because AI could probably do it better. And now approach it with this new mindset. You are not a prompt, you're the creator. And AI is your amplifier. It's not your replacement. Start with your unique perspective, your specific context, and your particular curiosity. And then invite AI to be your creative partner, not to do the work for you, but to help you do it better. And you'll discover something really remarkable. When you embrace your role as the creator, AI doesn't diminish your creativity. It actually just reveals how uniquely powerful your human imagination really is. Ready to reclaim your creative power and help your team do the same? Click the link in the description to book a complimentary innovation strategy session. Let's explore how the Create the Impossible framework can help you transform your approach to AI collaboration and unlock unprecedented creativity and innovation on your team. If you found these insights about reclaiming your creative power valuable, hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of innovation champions. And I'd love to know your thoughts on this topic. Have you ever avoided starting a creative project because you thought AI could do it better? Or maybe you discovered your own breakthrough moment of collaborating with AI as a creative partner. Share your insights in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious, stay playful, and keep creating the impossible. See you next time. Ciao.